United Nations Secretary General Ban Ki-moon held an end-of-year press conference today discussing the work of the organization over the past year.
Welcome to our traditional year-end press conference. I'd like to first of all touch on some leading challenges for the coming year.
The Secretary General wrapped up a year of work by the UN and some of its agencies, noting significant progress in a number of areas related to diplomacy and peacekeeping.
2013 was a promising year for diplomacy. The United Nations reached a landmark agreement on the destruction of Syria's chemical weapons program. The General Assembly adopted the Arms Trade Treaty, realizing a long-held dream. The member states agreed on a roadmap for shaping the post-2015 development agenda. Across the Sahel and West Africa, peacekeeping and mediation promoted stability. I want this diplomatic momentum to carry over into the new year. We must make 2014 the year of protecting people, their security, their fundamental rights, their basic well-being.
The UN also saw its partnership with other international organizations expand.
2013 was a year of heightened UN World Bank cooperation and partnership. The World Bank President, Dr. Jim Yong Kim, and I also traveled together to Africa in May to support the peace, security, and cooperation framework for the Democratic Republic of the Congo and the region that was brokered by the United Nations in February.
Despite many areas of success in UN work around the world, Mr. Ban also described some of the continuing challenges that will need to be addressed in the year ahead, most pressingly, the crises in Syria and the Central African Republic.
2013 was the year in which the Syrian conflict deteriorated beyond all imagination. The people of Syria cannot afford another year, another month, even another day of brutality and destruction. It was also the year in which the Central African Republic descended into chaos. I'm gravely concerned about the imminent danger of mass atrocities. We must also overcome the severe and chronic underfunding of the relief effort.
So what's in store for 2014? According to the Secretary General, quite a lot. The crisis in Syria still needs to be resolved, as does the crisis in the Central African Republic. But 2014 will also be a crucial year for the international community to meet the Millennium Development Goals by 2015.
Ladies and gentlemen, this year ahead will be crucial for development. Achieving the Millennium Development Goals by the end of 2015 means accelerating efforts now, especially on lagging goals like sanitation and maternal health.
Building on the successes of the MDGs and establishing a strong post-2015 development framework to eradicate poverty and address climate change will characterize much of the UN's work over the coming year.
Agreeing on a new agenda and on a set of sustainable development goals requires intensified discussions. And reaching a climate agreement in 2015 means doing heavy lifting in 2014.
Climate change has taken an unusual backseat in global policy over the past few years. Despite intensified work by the UN and civil society, as well as increasing catastrophic weather, most recently in the Philippines, there has been very little concrete action on combating the causes of global warming. The outcome of the climate conference in Warsaw last month was perhaps symbolic of the state of affairs. Widely publicized and grandiose promises, but weak outcomes and no tangible policy agenda, something that Mr. Ban promises to change in the next year.
I will convene a climate change summit meeting on September 23rd next year. I want this to be a solutions summit on the road to the climate action the world so urgently needs.
As with any year, 2013 experienced its ups and downs, but the Secretary General seemed intent on redoubling the UN's and the international community's efforts to address the pressing challenges of today and tomorrow.
Nobody, no organization, no country, however powerful, however resourceful one may be, cannot do this alone. Then that's why I've been appealing and reaching out to member states. Please let us work together. Secretary General or even United Nations cannot do it alone. Let us see.
This is Brendan Pastor at the United Nations for South South News.